This is Brightside Home Theater.
Hey, home theater nerds, welcome to the Brightside Home Theater Podcast. The home theater podcast that's all about the sights, the sounds, the scenes. And John, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
A little tease here for what's coming next week. Thought I'd have you on quickly before we bring Jeff in to talk about the best discs of the year so far.
Nice.
Yeah. Really excited for that conversation. Really excited. I've got my notes. I can't wait to. He's always got some off the wall ones. So I have
something you're not expecting.
Yeah. Like I think once he did like a My Fair Lady, which is out of my genre of like what I would sit down in my theater to see. But it is a great home theater experience. But you and I, we just finished recording our Brightside Chat episode, and you were raving. And we're going to talk about this next week. So I thought I'd let you give the listeners a little tease on what we're going to be talking. I am going to see it by next week, but one of the movies we'll talk about next week. But why don't you let everybody know what you saw? And even I love the comment from Lydia, your wife.
Yeah, so we watched RRR, which is on Netflix. Fantastic movie for home theater. It was recommended on a bunch of the Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos pages that I follow on Facebook. My wife came in close to the end of the movie, and she is not really into home theater like you and I are. But even she made the comment to me that, she thought the special effects were just fantastic. The visual effects were fantastic. And again, for her to notice that they were, means that they were off the chain. Like they were really good. That's awesome. Yeah, I honestly can't wait for you to watch it because I had such a good time with this movie and can't wait to talk about it some more. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I know. Listening to you talk about it on our other podcast, I was like, all right, because I know Rob at AV Rant had talked about it. I've had other listeners mention it to me. You got to check this out. And I'm like, I can't wait to get into it next week with you either because I loved your description. Like the way you were going through it, like the action, the dance numbers, wait, what?
Yeah. It's a different movie for sure.
Right.
It is a different movie.
It's fantastic.
But it was great.
So another thing I would like to tease the listeners about, and I thought it was perfect because I got this. I've gotten a few requests for this, but this email came in today, and it comes from Gurinder. And he says one question in his email. I won't read the whole email, but he said, actually, I will read the whole email. He goes, restarted working on the duct/bulkhead in the basement. Made a little bit of progress. It's great working on this stuff and listening to your podcast. You almost put the rant in Brightside with the episode with VJ, LOL. Phew, it's like DJ is a real person and not a bot just looking at the bright side. I loved it.
Awesome.
I was like, hey, got to bring some balance. Yeah, exactly. But he said, he goes, one question. Will you be reading listener emails again? Well, I guess this answers that question, right, John?
Yes, it sure does.
He's like, I know it in the one podcast you had mentioned to write Takeover Tuesday as the subject line. I always liked hearing from the other listeners. That's what makes your current setup intriguing as well. Listening to the other listeners live, well, tape delayed / web delayed.
Live.
Right. So yes, we are going to be bringing that back. John and I, that's going to be one of our segments. We're going to be doing listener comments. So same idea. And because that is but what I want to do, John, is there are other podcasts like, obviously, right into AV Rant and HT Guys for gear and how to set up your gear and stuff like that. I love all the comments. You can tell us about your experiences. And it doesn't just have to be about a movie, because John and I are going to talk about, we're going to talk about your experience with your short throw projector. We're going to talk
Right.
about your experience of setting up your living room. Talk about any experiences that you've had. And then we can say, even if you made a mistake, like the time that you did we joked about it. You were on the podcast before with your Odyssey EQ.
Oh, the Odyssey. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I've made many mistakes. That's why I wasn't sure where you were going with that. But yeah, that was a big one.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those, any experiences you have, write them in. And actually, what should we do that? Like tag it, like email us HT experience and then, or whatever. And we'll talk about it on the podcast. Sound good?
Yeah, that works. Yep.
All right. So yeah, there's going to be more fun stuff like that coming. So John next week, full show with John next week. Right now, we're going to get to a conversation with Jeff, and then John and I will be back with a few words at the end. But going to sit down with Jeff and talk about the best discs of the year so far.
Awesome.
Hey Jeff, this has been a long time coming. We've worked hard at this.
It's been a long time. It's been a real long time.
Yeah, longer than we expected. Longer than we expected.
Well, you've asked me, and I've had some software issues with my Ethernet. So I appreciate your patience.
Oh,
I'm glad to be back on.
Yeah, I mean, you were just here at the beginning of the year. We did our year-end wrap-up of Best of 2021, and here we are back for Best of 22 so far.
Back for more.
Yeah, and we are going to do Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. That's another one on our agenda to get done. We're going to do that in its entirety, you and I. We're going to sit down and have fun with that because I haven't.
So you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it solo this time. You're going to let me in?
We'll just do the whole entire thing. We'll watch it, have fun with it. We could do that, next time. And wasn't there a third thing we were talking about doing? I thought there was something.
Best. That's
what we're doing
4K
today.
Blu-rays of all time. We're doing tonight.
Maybe.
We're doing like the best
2022
so far this year. How about maybe Game of Thrones? We're talking about something else too. I thought.
I think
books? No.
yeah, that's my other podcast. No, I think that's what it was. It was something with maybe Game of Thrones with the new show coming out. I think we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but there's so much stuff to do. But I know you have a hard out today. That's how busy you are, Jeff. It's so great. But thank you for taking the time. But you have a hard out, so we have 1 hour to chit chat, get to the best of 2022. And so I appreciate you taking the time, and let's get to it. So anything exciting in your life home theater wise lately?
There's been some great stuff this year. I'm not super happy, but I don't have a ton of great stuff to suggest to people. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why we come on here, right? Who wants to spend their money?
Yeah.
Those Kino Lorber and those Arrow videos. I mean, those are like $40. So I don't have this has been some great stuff. Don't get me wrong, but there's also been some bad stuff. I mean, I was scanning. There's so much media to look at these days. It's just insane. I was on Netflix the other day and just scanning through it. And man, there's so much garbage, man. There's so much garbage.
I know.
Let's just create quantity rather than quality these days. And so, anyway,
that would be a long show. Dark Side of Home Theater. That would be a long show.
Yeah, I was also thinking we could do a show about the greatest 4K duds of all time. It's the worst.
Yeah,
the ones you don't want to spend your money on, or you want to just throw them away.
But they would have to be great movies that would be a dud, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it'd have to be like it just didn't come out well. And I don't think that would be a long show. I think there's only a few like that I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
Ragnarok comes to mind. But yeah, it's but yeah, let's get to the best of 2022. I don't know how you broke. Hey, we don't plan anything. We just say we're going to do this. You have an ongoing thing, and then at the end of the year we do our wrap up. I don't know if you noticed. Did you know I had Ralph Potts on?
I noticed you had him twice.
Twice.
He's
Guy's
at least twice,
amazing.
right?
Yeah, the second time, holy crap. Thank you for putting me together with it, because it was because of our interaction in doing the year-end wrap-up, and then I asked him what a great guy. And then the second time for Morbius, I was just like, literally, it was a Sunday afternoon. I saw him drop his article, and I was like, oh my God, you got to come. He goes, okay, let me see what I can do. And he's like, Thursday at 2. I was like, beggars can't be choosers. I'll be home from work.
Well, it's great to see him in person too, because I've always read his stuff, but haven't really seen him live. So that was great.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. So honestly, I'm hoping we can do the three of us at the end of the year for the wrap up. I think that would be a blast to get the three of us to do, because we had a lot of fun going back and forth just through texting to come up with our list last year. And I think it would be fun to do that and then put that in a show form as well, and to get the three of us together. So that might be a little longer than an hour. We're going to have to book that.
The Three Stooges.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, geez. There we go.
Funny, man.
That'd be a fun New Year's party. All right. How do you want to do this then? We didn't plan. We just know best of 2022. I have my list. I want to know, what do you want to just start going through and see? All right, I did mine by month, and I've been ongoing. Like, as we get to the end of the month, I'm like, what really hit me this month? So I have one for each month. And do you want to do that, or do you have a list like that? And then we can go through after that and say how we ranked them so far.
We could certainly do that. I have this Twitter poll that goes on. I ask users what's the best Blu-ray of every month, and then at the end of the 3 months, because Twitter only lets you have 4 list items.
Yeah.
So then I do then those fight each other, right? So for example, in January is Dune versus Halloween Kills versus Last Night in Soho versus Juice. Guess which one? Right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
There you go.
I got it. Yep.
February, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Encanto, Eternals, The King's Man. Ghostbusters won that one, I believe.
Yep.
So anyway,
that's
and then I ask,
Yeah.
So tomorrow, I could do it today, but I gave people at least one day to look at their Blu-rays they get today.
Yeah.
But they'll be April through June, which will be another like a battle.
Yeah.
And then, the ones that are going to be in the finals, but I'm very interested in seeing the battle of the top 4 of the first 6 months.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. So hopefully your listeners and people who are on Twitter, they can get into this vote and see which is the best one.
Go to HD. Is it hdreport.com, or is there an underscore in there? Or is that
There's
just Twitter?
There's a dash. Yeah.
Dash.
Like I was saying, there's some French companies got HD Report. I can't get it from.
All the links are in the show notes. So if you're looking for Jeff and you're looking for his Twitter handle over there at HD Report or his link, go on over there. And these things are fun anyways. But all right, well then let's get to it. What do you got?
Am I the first to start? You want me to start with stuff, or do you want to?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You always make me go first.
All right, you want me to go first?
Wait, are we counting down?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Do you want to just go through January and then we'll do a countdown? Because I could do, it's pretty simple.
All right, talk January then.
All right, I got Dune. I went first.
Yeah, okay.
See?
So, but Dune for me, all right, maybe we don't do it. Maybe we're not going to end up at the top. We're not going to mark it down. I
want to rank them too. We'll go back through and rank them afterwards. But I have Dune in January, and as second runner-up, I have Last Night in Soho. But I don't think that's even close between the two.
But that's a trippy movie. That's a really good movie. So Dune. What about it? Why did you think it was so good?
I just thought the video is, the HDR is just so good. It's and I also have that in 3D as well. And watching that in 4K with the HDR, it's just seeing the spice floating through the air, and it almost looks 3D, and you don't have 3D glasses on, and it looks so good. And then getting into the sound, the bass, that movie, I've yet to hear somebody. Obviously, we're all home theater people that I'm talking about here. It rocks everybody's house. And what I think is funny too is that the one, not difference I would say, but the one caveat is a lot of my listeners and the people I talk to, we all listen at different levels, which I think is very interesting. But I always try to listen at reference level. But then I've had so many discussions with people. You don't need to do that. You need to do that. I like it here. I like it there. So with all of those audible differences, everybody says Dune. It rocks the house. So it's just, I mean, that's the long and the short of it right there. I mean, it's just, everybody says like audio is just, it's 50-50, but when you get a movie that sounds this good and the dialogue crystal clear all the way through.
Oh, starting from the heartbeat in the beginning when Chani is narrating the story.
Yeah.
I mean, that drum, the heartbeats that get faster and faster, that's just intense. I mean, it gets you set up for the whole movie, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Exactly. The heartbeat. There's so many scenes like that. When he's sitting at the table, I forget the characters' names, but he's sitting at the table and trying to use his force powers for the first time, and it's like, your room's vibrating, but you could still hear them. And it's so good.
Yeah. Well, the underscore too, like the score underneath everything kind of transitions you from scene to scene, which is really, really nice too.
Yes.
It's because you can actually, like, I did this before I kind of listened to the movie, and you can kind of know where you are in the movie, but just by listening to it.
Oh yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
in terms of the visuals, it's very subtle. Like, it's not like, it's a complete different look than like a Marvel film, right? Obviously.
It's
very subtle,
classic, just elegant.
Yeah.
Not like Marvel, which isn't bad, but just different. Right.
Right. Yeah. That's it's definitely, I'm so excited for the second part of it.
Yeah. Part 2.
Part 2.
Yeah. It's, I can't get enough of that. Did you watch Foundation last year?
Yeah.
On Apple TV? Yeah. Same thing. It just, to me, it's like after seeing Dune and then watching Foundation, and it's like just that kind of genre. I just couldn't get enough of that. And I can't wait for season 2 of that. I can't wait for part 2 of this. It's so good. So well done. So well done.
Cool.
What do we got? Oh,
okay. So wait. So we're gonna jump to the next one then.
You want to go to February?
Sure.
All right.
February.
I have Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Okay.
I don't even have a second because I can't even think of what else there was. What did you have on your list?
The other big ones were Encanto, which is,
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one.
It's
Disney.
a fun film. The Eternals I was really disappointed with. I think it looked pretty good. I thought the story was really, it was dragging. I couldn't really take it.
But I like the story, but you're right. It's like, but see, here's the thing. We're going to get to it in June and with Morbius, because everybody knows I love that movie too. But I thought what I liked about Eternals story-wise is it was a departure from the normal fun movie, like you were saying about Marvel. Like Eternals wasn't fun.
No.
Which is sad.
No.
But I liked that, though. It was more story, giving you a bigger, vaster universes, telling you, I mean, there are bigger issues than Thanos. And that was that kind of that message there. I thought it looked great. I thought it sounded decent, really good, but it didn't compare to Afterlife, right? It just, that movie just had everything. And that one had, I mean, the story was amazing. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but God, talk about pulling at your heartstrings. But the Atmos in that was just from the opening scene. And did you hear Larry on my show from SVS?
No, I didn't hear that one.
Okay, so I asked Larry, Nick and Larry were on from SVS talking about a home theater and best things for designing a home theater type thing, right? And at the end of it, I asked him, I said, Larry, and no, what Larry does is trains all the SVS people, and he goes to all the shows and he does demos for people. And I was like, Larry, I'm like, I need to know what's a great scene since the last time you've been on. And he broke down the opening scene of Afterlife like
Nice.
like that. Just like pop, 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 pop. And Nick's cracking up and Nick's like, I think he took him like 5 minutes and he goes, the scene was about a minute long. He goes, but he had just done it like 83 times at a show in Chicago. So it's like,
okay.
so he knew like decibel levels. He knew everything about that opening scene. And and that just sets the stage for the rest of the movie. You're just like, and again, that's another one where the contrast, the HDR with that special effects, and you had bright and dark scenes, and the scene in the barn, and the like just atmospheric haze and stuff, but then depth perception. They're just getting so good with it. When they do it so well, it really does have that 3D effect.
Mm-hmm. It's great, yeah. The other movie from February that I loved was the King's Man.
Okay, yeah. I don't know
it-
why that didn't strike me as much though.
At home, not as much, but it was I thought it was a fun theater experience.
Yeah. Okay.
I took my parents to that one, so it's kind of fun.
to the King's Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
man,
nice.
They like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
They love it. We go to all the Mission Impossible movies,
Oh yeah.
all the James Bond movies. By
Nice.
the way, I have to tell you this quick story because I was just in Italy. I don't know if did I text you from Italy or did you
Yeah,
text me or something?
Yeah.
So we go to Matera. Have you heard of? This is where they filmed the beginning to James Bond. You know, he gets his car gets shot.
Yeah.
up in
The latest
No Time to
James
Die.
Bond. Yeah.
No Time to Die.
Oh wow.
So because
you didn't get shot, did you?
No. But I was like, I gotta see this. I gotta see this city, and it's like
wow.
I think the third oldest city that's been inhabited in the world or something like that. It's really amazing.
Wow.
It's hard to get to, but it's really amazing. So anyway, so I'm walking around. So we go to this little cafe there, and we're talking to we go in and we're going to order food, and it's like this very, let's say like a robust, sort of like a very jolly gentleman, very funny guy. And I said, yeah, I heard, were you here for the No Time to Die? And he's like, we trying to talk to him in, Italian and English, kind of a mix. And I was like, Daniel Craig, did you get to meet him? And he's like, just looked at me like, who? And I was like, James Bond. He's like, oh, he's like, James Bond. He goes, no, I didn't get to see him. They told us to go home those days. So I guess they paid off like a bunch of the restaurants.
To just be closed.
Just basically, just like close for the day. We need you out here. But it was really funny. He was like, no, he's like, no, James Bond. He goes, oh, he's like, but I did meet the Wonder Woman. And so he shows me a picture of Gal Gadot, like, in his restaurant.
Oh, really?
The first Wonder Woman, she's running through this city, remember?
Yeah.
It's the same city.
Oh, wow. And so they didn't
really
shut the city down for that?
No.
They just let her run through. She wasn't that famous yet. Probably.
Well, I mean, the thing is about her is that she did all those Fast and Furious. I mean, she was out there. It's just not like the same level, I guess.
Yeah, not the same level. Yeah.
That's kind of a funny story.
That's
anyway,
awesome.
Back to, so I take my parents to all the, they love the action films. They just love that stuff. So
that's cool.
Anyway.
Yeah, my parents aren't big moviegoers. They saw Titanic twice. So that goes to show you. It's a 3-hour epic movie. They never go to the movies. They saw that twice. And they're going to see Elvis. So there you go. Yeah.
So 30 years apart, roughly.
No, honestly.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. The two movies that you literally know the entire story of.
Yeah.
No surprises. It's like ship sinks, man dies. We know we know everything before and after. It's like,
that's so funny.
Okay. But yeah. Have you seen Elvis? The
No,
movie, not the guy.
Has it opened yet?
Yeah. Yeah, it opened Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk about like when you said like Dune, like you hear the scenes and you know where they are. It's like I got so into the movie Elvis. It's ridiculous. And like my wife and I, we downloaded the album on iTunes,
Mhm.
and we're listening
Nice.
to the album in the car, and now they're playing out the scenes. Some of
Nice.
the songs are like literally cut from the movie. It says film edit, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh, this is awesome! Like because he's like telling the band what to do. Like, come on, bring that up a little bit more, and you'll know it when you see it. It's awesome. I really, really enjoyed that one. So
Cool. And the Minions opens, I think, this week. The new Minions movie.
well, there's a
Thursday
segue.
night, Friday night.
Go from
that's-
Elvis to Minions.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big hit.
You think because of the kids?
I'm feeling it. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it's gonna
My
be a big
wife
one.
loves Minions.
Yeah.
Loves them.
They're-
I'm just like, they're Minions. She loves it. I don't know. All right, March. I got a surprise one
So-
for you. You go first.
Well, let me tell you the top 4 that I had that I put out
From
there
March?
for votes anyway. From March.
Okay.
Matrix Resurrections. Oh
Mhm.
god.
It's
What a
good.
piece of trash.
Trash. I liked it. I was
West
like,
Side Story.
yes.
Nightmare Alley, which is I thought
Didn't
was a
see
pretty
that.
good film.
Didn't see
And
that.
then you've got the Godfather trilogy that came out in March.
I have that on my list as an honorable mention.
No, really, the Godfather.
Yeah, Godfather trilogy is an honorable mention, and you're gonna love my number one
Show some
for March.
respect.
Oh,
Show
Godfather!
some
It looks fantastic.
Okay.
It does.
Okay,
It looks
what's your-
fantastic. My number one for March, The Adam Project from Netflix.
Oh, really? No kidding.
Yeah.
You like that movie?
Oh,
Cool.
I loved it. I mean, it's cookie cutter Ryan
Mm-hmm.
Reynolds, but did you see it?
I saw half of it. I didn't get through it.
Spoilers.
Sometimes I can't get through the whole movie, but anyway.
Oh, you didn't like it that much? You stopped because you didn't like it, or you
Nah,
just had other
I'll
things to
finish.
do?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I'll finish it.
But
But it looked great. It looked good. Real good.
it Mark Ruffalo. You've got Ryan Reynolds. I forget the kid's name that's playing
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, and he's doing such a good job in that movie. The kid is just nailing the character of Ryan Reynolds. And I just thought it was a really good. I watched it with my son. I thought it was a great father-son movie. And the home theater part of it, I was like, I think it's better than Six Underground. I mean, it's got some great action sequences for stream. I always like to get some streaming stuff in there because especially the streaming only stuff. I mean, it's one thing like, a movie comes out streaming first and we get the disc later. So people get to compare, but movies like this, like the Adam Project, we never get any other version. So this is the best it's going to look. And it's comforting to know that like when we do compare, we see how close streaming really is. And that's why I'm like, I think it's silly not to include them in, I'm not Martin Scorsese. I think they're quality movies. I think we should count them as such, and that's why I have it as number one. I mean, Godfather trilogy is great. Watch Godfather, scan through the other ones, just seeing picture quality and sound. I don't have all that kind of time. There's 3 of them, for God's sakes. But you know what I mean? I mean, they look better than they've ever looked. The transfers are great. They sound great. I just think I got to go with the original, the newest version for that month, and that's why I picked Adam Project.
Yeah, I'm coming to that stage in my life.
Oh, which one's this?
In this
We're getting
home
older,
theater
Jeff.
industry.
So
yeah. I mean, I agree. Like I'm looking at The Great Escape, and man, it's just all right. I'm looking at it. I got one right here. The Patriot Games.
yeah,
Sorry about the crash.
it's okay.
Some of these older films, and I'm just they don't have the same kind of like sound, obviously, and dynamic range in terms of sound and also
Right.
visual. They don't. You have to really appreciate. For me, the only way to really rank a movie super high is to really appreciate what they've done with the old classics.
Yeah,
And so there is, like The Godfather, it doesn't have that shine, but it's it's
I
probably
don't.
ranked the top 5 or top 10 movies of all time, and
Yeah.
it's the best it's ever looked. And I didn't, it goes downhill from number 1, but
But it doesn't. It's not Lawrence of Arabia. It's not 10 Commandments. It's Bridge Over the River Kwai. I really, really like too. Their transfers. So I just think like I always go at 10 Commandments and Lawrence of Arabia though. The colors, the way that thing pops, and the sound is really good. Psycho is in DTSX, and it sounds fantastic, and it sounds appropriate. It doesn't sound fake. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they took Psycho and gave it this crazy soundtrack that you're like, it doesn't feel like it goes with the movie. But the DTSX, the discrete channels, what they did with it, I just think it really enhanced what Hitchcock was going for in the first place. So that's why I think, where I feel like, I know what you're saying, like Godfather trilogy, it looks better than I've ever seen it. But compared to anything else this year, I really can't put it in the ranking because it's just like a really nice version of that movie.
Right.
So
yeah, I know.
And we feel bad saying that, don't we?
Yeah, I don't want to drop it and say it's kind of like the same thing with like, so I have this ongoing list of the best 4K Blu-rays of all time, and there are certain movies that come in and they take the slot of, because I've got it's hard because I started at the top 25 and now I've got the top 50, top 75, and top 100, and like a movie will come in and like knock out one from that's in the top 25, like for example like The Patriot, which is really good looking film. Braveheart, really good looking film. But there are movies that just, if you talk about like quality, and then if you bring in the home theater experience component, facet of it, like that's it feel bad. I feel bad,
Right.
but at the same time, it is subjective, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, all art is.
yeah.
It really is.
And so yeah, I mean, like I'm starting to like having to drop these multi-Oscar winners for like movies that didn't get any Oscars just because they look so good and the quality, the technical aspects are so good. But here's the thing, like if it's a crappy movie like Moonfall, oh God.
Thank you.
I mean, that movie is trash. But it is so bad. But the Atmos, the low frequency effects of that movie, and some of the visuals are really good, but the audio is excellent.
Jeff, your room should shake when the moon scrapes the earth.
And that's the only reason I kept that movie on. It was just horrible.
I know. It was.
Oh, good Lord.
I've had that conversation. So I'm like, it is just so bad, but it is Roland Emmerich. It is like, it's a home theater experience. That's what my podcast is about. I can't deny, but I was the same way watching it. I'm like, I am constantly defending suspending disbelief, right? I'm always saying, leave your brain at the door, just enjoy this movie. And even I was like, what the hell just happened? It was like, have you seen Hurricane Heist? I thought that was a low, and I loved that movie for the home theater experience.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's a bank heist that goes on during a hurricane.
Oh, okay.
It's like
I have
down in like South Carolina or something, right? But it's like, it's in Atmos, I believe. And I know it's object based. I'm pretty sure it's Atmos, and it's everything you'd ever want out of Twister and more. It's just because it's discreet, but it's discreet in a great way. Whereas I feel like, and I've heard Twister and Atmos from the European version, but the thing is when you do Atmos in like a Twister way, it's just like you just throw sounds out, and make them spin around the room, and they don't even have to be anything like any sounds, just a bunch of them, right? And it gives you that effect. But when you have a movie where like discrete sounds of wires twanging off on the side, you know what I mean? Like things you can can actually locate and visualize at the same time, not just ambient, just like craziness. So that's what I liked about Hurricane Heist. And like Moonfall, same thing. It's like such good sound. It's just the story. It was almost like they're like, we've got to do all these sounds. We'll write the story as we go.
Oh God, yeah. Well, sometimes I think there are these really bad movies, and they're like, well, this movie's garbage. Let's just make it look and sound as good as possible. You know what I mean? And maybe we'll get some home theater enthusiasts to like buy this stuff, like some jokers like me.
And me, right? So my whole podcast is on that.
I don't want to call you a joker.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I know. I do that all the time too.
Yeah.
You call yourself that, but when you're really just calling the person you're talking to that.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like me, an ass. Wait, you just called me an
Anyway,
ass.
it's kind of like my thing. Like I gotta look at them. I look at as many as possible, and yeah. All right.
So that was in April, but what do you have for number one in April? Obviously.
Hold on. That was wait. That was March, right?
We just finished March, but we were talking Moonfall, which came out in April.
Oh God. Okay, you jumped to okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got April. So here's the top 5 that I came up with for April. Now I'm saying these are mine. These are not my top 5, but these are the top. What I do is I kind of go by popularity on my website, and then I also go by like sales, and I go by like reviews, and it's kind of like a subjective thing. But so Death on the Nile, beautiful film.
Okay,
gorgeous
didn't
film.
see that one.
I saw it in a screening room. It was really, really nice.
Nice.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein,
Mm-hmm.
Scream,
Yeah.
Singing in the Rain, and then Spider-Man: No Way Home.
No Way Home. That's what I have. I didn't see Singing in the Rain. Saw Scream. Thought much like Godfather. I feel like it looked looked great, sounded great, but okay. I was just, but Spider-Man: No Way Home. It's like not even close. That's up there. That's up there. It's going to be up there for the disc of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those scenes one of my favorite HDR scenes on that is when he's going after Electro on those high tension wires at the beginning of the movie, and seeing the blue sky, the lightning, the green in the trees, but they're silhouetted trees against the dark sky. When they do, that's a nighttime silhouette of trees is so hard to pull off in the movie. Right. Yeah. But now because of HDR, you're getting that, and you're getting the gradation in the sky. You're getting the little twinkles in the stars. And then on top of that, you throw in all that lightning, and then the lights reflect it. And then Spider-Man in that black suit that he had on with the wires coming out of it. People, the comments I was getting from people too, because I was lucky enough, I got to see this early because of the Kaleidoscape. So when it dropped, everybody was like, I saw it in March. And when everybody saw it in April, they were like, "This is amazing." I'm like, "I've been waiting for everybody to talk about this." But it's like everybody was commenting on all the stuff they saw that they didn't see in the theater. And it's like, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the scene when the whole, like with when Doctor Strange and Wong, throw him into that dimension.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's some insane looking video.
Yeah.
And
the sound too.
And the mirror dimension scene is really incredible. The Sandman scene, he looks really good. Sandman in general, the way Sandman's presented looks really good.
Right. Yeah. The technology that they have now compared to the last time they did Sandman, so much better.
What did you think about the finale, the grand finale? I mean, it was on the darker spectrum. I didn't care for that palette as much as the rest of the film. Yeah, I couldn't get into that one as much. It was just I don't know. I didn't.
I thought it was good. I mean,
yeah.
I actually can't say, like, obviously I didn't. It doesn't jump to my mind like that Electro scene did. But I can't say it was a negative though. I mean, I really, probably because I was so emotionally spent, and you have Andrew Garfield kind of stole the show, and pulling at your heartstrings there, the three of them and everything going on. So maybe I just wasn't as critical of that.
Well, I think in the theater it looked amazing because you were actually, it was almost like life size when you're in the theater.
Yeah.
Because it was that big tower, or like the building or whatever it was, like but I thought it was very, like, at home it was super grainy to me anyway.
I'd have to go
it didn't
back
have
and
the
see
same
it.
effect. Yeah.
I'd have
But
to go
anyway,
back and
the rest
see
of the movie's fantastic.
it is.
And the sound is amazing and everything else.
Yeah, and great. I love the story. There's so many Spider-Man stories. How do you come up with another good one? Oh wait, I got an idea. Let's put a bunch of them together, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
so good, so good.
Well, the video is pretty good too for a Disney film. I think it was.
Well, it's actually Sony.
Sony.
It's a
yeah.
Sony disc.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I saw some peaks about, like, I think it was like 65 megabits per second. It was pretty high up there. I think it was running about 40 to 50 for the most part.
Okay. You get into all that? I don't even get into that. I'm like, I don't look at all that stuff. But you get into all that? Nice.
Yeah, I got the display up there.
Good. Nice. That's fun.
I
That's
watch
fun.
it with, and then I see all the specs and stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, look at that. It just jumped up to 65. Oh, look at that.
So, like, when you see it do that, do you like back up to see why it did it?
No.
Like,
no,
because if you're looking at that, you're not looking at this. Now, is that audio, video, combination of the
Both.
two? So whatever.
Well, I just kind of look at an average,
Mhm.
just kind of so I can get an average of what it's running at. I like to see, 'cause I want to make sure these Blu-rays are running what they're supposed to run, and not like BSing us.
Well, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that, comparing it on the Kaleidoscape and the different size downloads that you're getting.
And what are you getting for bit rate on there?
I don't know. I don't watch that
You're
stuff.
not sure.
I don't look.
Yeah.
I just know it's a substantially bigger file. And what movie was it that I just looked at? I can't remember what it was. I just looked at another movie that falls under the 66 gigabytes that Disney's putting their discs out at. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it still felt lesser on the disc compared to the Kaleidoscape. And I'm wondering, but they don't all feel that way. Like a Sony disc, it's usually matches up. Like Spider-Man No Way Home on Kaleidoscape and on disc. I honestly,
tell the difference.
I think it's because they're using 100 gigabyte disc. They're putting everything they can into it. And that's what they're giving to Kaleidoscape to put out. Whereas Disney's actually putting out slightly lesser. And then on Kaleidoscape, you're getting a slightly larger file. But I think, so what I guessed was maybe they're doing some sort of an algorithm that just reduces it. So even if it's going to fall under 66, you're still shrinking it down. So instead of being like, say on Kaleidoscape, it shows up as a 65 gigabyte file. If we were to look at it, and I do have the means to look at it here, I could actually pull the file off with the software I have. Maybe it's only 35 or 40 gigabytes. You know what I mean? So they're not even utilizing the whole 66 because you can see the difference. So it's kind of interesting because 99% of the people don't notice and don't care. They think they look great. But people do notice that Sony's discs look better, for instance, right? So that's one of the reasons. And and you know that from watching, you watch the bits. So you'll see like, a Disney's bits, I got to imagine, are going to be lower than a Sony bit.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of depends on the movie too, right? Like, so when you're looking at bit rates, I mean, if you're looking at a black screen, there's a really low bit rate, right? If you're looking at like a high, like a scene that has tons of color and depth and everything else, then the bit rate is higher. Yeah. I mean, I take notice of them. I don't see a huge difference, to be honest, between, I'll see the Sony's going a little higher sometimes, but the Disney discs they're not terrible. I mean, it kind of really depends. I don't see a problem with either one, to be honest. I just, I mean, if you're running like 40 to 60 megabits per second, I mean, that's pretty damn good. It's it's higher than what you're probably getting from Netflix and Disney. I mean, I guess
they're around the 15s, aren't they? 15s. Apple's supposed to be around 25 or something. I thought I heard.
Apple's higher. I think Apple can get up into 40. I think I've heard.
Oh, really?
But I mean, I need to get the developer like application and sort of look at that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Anyway, it gets, but yeah, I mean, as long as it looks good, I don't really care so much about bitrate.
Right.
I don't want to see any posterization of like colors, and I don't want to see any like rings into the sky and stuff like that. It
Right.
just looks, you can't have that. So
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, you want to get to May?
yes.
This is hands
Okay.
down.
May.
Come on.
No, man, I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you the best movies in May. Okay, ready? Turning Red. Oh God, why did I even mention that? Uncharted. Did you see Uncharted?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a great
It was a
movie.
great Spider-Man sequel.
That's too funny.
It opened
You
like
know-
he was Spider-Man.
Well, you know what's funny too? I was watching it, and he's hunting that, he's chasing that girl who's the other like archaeologist hunter, and he can't get her. And I'm like, dude, you're running around. Why don't you Spider-Man just go get her?
Yeah,
You know?
Swing.
Go get that cross. She's got the cross, dude. Just
that was so fun. But the opening scene when he's on,
Yeah.
falling out of the back of the plane and he's
I know,
jumping from place to, I mean, all his moves were like, it was like from Spider-Man, and I was cracking up the rest of the movie, but
I didn't get it. Like, I thought that movie they should have just made it more realistic, because that didn't make sense at all. Don't you think?
what do you mean? That he
Like,
could
why
jump?
is he jumping in the sky? He's jumping from like these whatever the airplane dropped.
It's
It's
like
because there's like, it's from the video game, and
Yeah.
he can jump everywhere, right?
Right.
But it's just like, why not just make a movie that's a little more like Red Notice? Like, that was a good
Yeah.
movie, I thought.
Yeah,
And it
I
was
like that.
fun, a lot of action, and it wasn't. It was believable. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Basically
like
the same thing, right?
Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty funny.
But
Okay.
yeah.
It was a funny movie. Patriot Games came out.
Okay.
Infinite, 2001. Infinite.
Yeah, I saw that streaming a while ago, but it just come out on disc.
Yeah, it's the Mark Wahlberg.
Mark
movie.
Wahlberg and
Mark Wahlberg.
yeah, another Mark Wahlberg. Yep.
And then The Untouchables came out that month.
Come on, get to the big one.
Kevin Costner. What?
I know
That's
who.
it.
No, it's not.
Those are the big ones from May.
From May?
All right. What was the best one for May? Go ahead.
The Batman.
That was terrible. All right. No, the Batman.
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
God.
I'm being like, for me. Oh, man. Okay. You've talked about the Batman. I listened to some of your podcasts.
I've talked about it extensively, so you
talked about it a lot.
You might have heard it. Yeah,
and I don't want to be repetitious, but
why not?
Yeah.
That's what all we talk about is home theater.
so did you see the Batman in the theater?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
A couple times.
And so did I. I saw it twice in the theater.
Yeah.
I saw it.
I have a buddy that saw it 3 times in the theater. And he's a huge Batman comic book reader. Had great conversations with Martin, and just because one of the things I love about this movie is the depth of it, and that there's such a depth to it that if you're a Batman fan, there's so much more you can pull out. But I also think that it's great for somebody that's not even a comic book fan. I just think I've talked to people that think it's just a good movie, a really good movie, and maybe they don't get the depth that even there's things I don't even understand that I've had explained to me, but there's just so much to it. And then you get to the home theater experience, and much like we were talking about with Dune, it's just, I don't know, it's just elegant, just the way it's shot. The HDR in this is different than, say, what we're like Spider-Man No Way Home or Ghostbusters Afterlife. This is just more nuanced, and the colors and the monochromatic scenes against the dark scene. I mean, the entire thing, and then the sound. I mean, it's just
the sound is incredible. I love the soundtrack. I mean, I love the Batmobile, like the muscle car Batmobile.
Yeah,
when he's in kind of in that alley, and then Penguin is like, whatever, trying to kill him.
Yeah.
And it starts up. I mean, that's the coolest. I mean, I guess they used. I was reading that to get those sound effects for the car, I think they used
It's multiple
two
things.
Yeah, they use a couple Broncos from the 70s, like a 77 and a 78 Bronco with the 8-cylinder, like, and then they used a pop rocket, I think, for the the real high pitch sound.
Yeah,
Remember pop rockets, the firework things?
Yeah.
But yeah, just like insane. That scene is probably, I mean, it's got to be in the top 3, maybe one of the best Batman action scenes of all time. I mean, it's just insane.
Did you see I know you saw it. When Penguin rolls the car, and the way it like just tumbles around, and like your room is tumbling in the long way, like like you're inside a bingo machine.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I have to say that the theater experience is so much better than the home experience, I think. And
you do? The in the theater experience?
In theater experience is for me was so much better. I mean, that's a must see in the theater.
I did.
At home, the HBO Max was really bad.
No,
that was horrible. The digital's not bad. The 4K disc is really excellent.
Yes, it's in my theater. I always like it. I just have a better experience in my theater because it's just more into the speakers are closer. Everything's geared towards me in my listening position, right? As opposed to being in a giant theater, it's like unless you get the perfect seat, even then the speakers are so far away. This movie, I saw it. I can't even tell you how many times I've watched it. I've watched it with the audio commentary. I've watched it. Did you watch Matt Reeves on Dolby on the YouTube channel?
Yeah. That was good.
It was amazing. And both of them, because he does one for both video and audio, because it's Dolby Vision as well. So obviously they're promoting that. But he just hit him sitting at that round table and just listening to him. And I highly recommend the audio commentary of that because he's so invested in the character and just making a fun home theater movie. It's an artistic movie. It's not even, it is fun, but it's an artistic movie.
It was really creative, it was really good movie. A lot of people talk about how it looks a little like Seven, which is a great movie. Which is I'm writing this article about 10 more movies that we need upgraded to 4K, and I do one every year. So that's going to come out in a couple of days, but I was thinking like, well, everybody's talking about how it looks like Seven. Well, maybe Seven was actually influenced by some of the Batman, the detective comic books, right? I mean, but yeah, I mean, he drew, he pulls so much from the old Batman, from the old comic books and everything else, and
Long Halloween
cinematography, it is so much fun. I love the rawness of it. I love how everything's not quite slick yet. The only criticism I'm going to say about the Batman is that if they had found that true black, like Tenet, Tenet, right?
Yes. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Christopher Nolan film. There's I was talking about like how there's milk chocolate and there's dark chocolate. I mean, which one looks better, right? Tenet had such pure, beautiful black levels, like slick. The Batman didn't have that. It was more grainy and a little more sludgy, I guess you'd call it. And I think if they found that true black, man, that would have been a killer 4K release. It was hard to see in the theater that it didn't, but when you see it at home, I felt like it just needed that touch bit more.
But I think that had to do with I think it's a stylistic choice, like the way that the tones that they were, like they raised.
It's very dirty.
Right, but they raised the black level, meaning it's going to be a little brighter to maybe show some detail that might have been lost otherwise. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, if you go too dark, it might get crushed out in a lot of cases. But I know what you're saying. If they were able to nail that and get you down to that, like you said, that inky black, where this felt more like like you said, like almost like a chocolate, or a dark charcoal.
It was almost like a printed black rather than like the black behind you right now in your studio setting is like really inky, like nice black.
Right.
But
that's what I liked about it, though. It's a stylistic choice, and you're not losing any detail in there, and that's what's great about the HDR in that it's like it's so well done that when you do get a bright scene, it's so bright. You're like, because it's everything's like monochromatic almost, but then they'll have the bright lights of a street sign or a headlight or lights or anything, and you're like, whoa, those are really bright. So it's again, it's so much to it.
It's setting a new standard in terms of like the way movies are presented. I mean, compare that to like a Marvel film, and you're like, oh my god, what is Marvel doing? Like, it's just like it's like a Amazon commercial, like a like a progressive insurance commercial or something. Now I will say, like, some Marvel movies, they switch, like they'll go to the scenes. Some scenes are better, like the new Doctor Strange. Like there are those candy scenes, and then they go to some darker scenes. But like the thing about the Batman that's great is that it almost looks like an old like comic book that wasn't inked very well.
Right.
It's not perfect. Like they actually found imperfect lenses. Like they're using these Arri lenses that were imperfect, that sometimes the focus wasn't even like in the right spot, like centered, it was off. And so they use these crappy lenses, and then they do all these processes like interpositives and things like that to get it to be really grainy and get that effect. Because if you look at the film, it almost looks like an old box camera because it's not all in focus. Whereas a Marvel film, everything's in focus, you know?
Yeah, hyper focused.
Right.
And
but
vibrant. This one,
like,
you wouldn't call Batman vibrant.
No, like if Batman's in the center, he's focused, and then the guys on the side, it's kind of like a vignette, right? The focus, it loses focus. So yeah, everything about it stylistic is fantastic. The audio is fantastic. I love the acting. I love the character choices.
I wonder if you're on to something there that I hadn't heard before. It's like, I wonder if that was a stylistic choice to be similar to like the printed comic to pull you in. And then of course you have, and I think I can't take credit for just saying this. I think I heard him say it, Matt Reeves say it, but that blurred, like you blurred. So it's setting your focus as he moves the camera. So like, you don't even have to move the camera. You just change where the blur, and like your eyes will follow. Right. So you're kind of seeing what Batman is seeing, especially that opening scene when he's in the crime scene and he's looking around the room. Audio commentary on that is amazing too. But I like what you said there about the printed aspect of it, knowing how much, I mean, Batman came from print, came from relatively crappy print in a comic book, right? So maybe that was part of it too. And he's just, a little slight homage to that, but yet still is a great looking piece of film. It's interesting. I mean, we're just guessing here, but that's what I think is so great about the Batman, is that it's such a great piece of art to talk about in so many different ways. And the people that don't like it, I'm like, okay, it's just not your cup of tea, but it's talk about, for a piece of art to be able to pull at so many different things. I think that's what makes it great to me.
I mean, every frame is like a painting, that's where it's just a gorgeous film. I mean, look, you can make any film sort of look like that by in post, like changing lenses and like defocusing stuff. But they went years of like testing lenses and testing, different things to like make it have that specific look. But yeah, it's really a piece of art. It really is. Yeah. It's like mastery. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
We have 1 month.
You've done the Batman. Okay.
Yeah. But you touched on new ground there. You said you didn't want to be repetitive, but I think we hit on some new stuff there, so that was great.
Good.
All right, so June, we have 1 month here, 1 month left, and then we'll rank them quickly.
Okay.
But what do we got? What do you got for June? I know my number one. You've been listening to the podcast.
Yeah, I can't seem to find June. Okay, so we're gonna have to go through this because what do we got in June? Let me pull it up really quick.
Well, I tell you that I have top 2 ones on my list.
Okay, I'm just going to tell everybody like the top. For me, there's a lot of movies. There are a lot of movies coming out. You got Lawrence of Arabia.
That was out last year, though.
But I consider this a new release just because most people didn't buy that. They didn't buy
the set. I think that's the set I bought when I was talking to you. Really? You had told me.
No. You bought the one with Taxi Driver, which is Volume 2.
Oh, okay. All right, so I already had that.
So anyway, so do you have Lawrence of Arabia or? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to skip through here. We got Bridge on the River Kwai,
Got that.
The Bourne Complete Collection came out. The Contractor, The Northman.
The Northman was looked and sounded really good. The movie was
Conan's better. All right.
Yeah. Whoa.
Ambulance.
The Barbarian?
No, like the original one, dude, with Arnold.
Yeah, I know. That was horrible.
No.
When was the last time you saw it?
No, but think about it. It's the same exact story, but
I know.
But Conan with Arnold, he brought it, man. He brought comedy and
not on purpose
and death and destruction. The Northman had no comedy.
Well, me and my buddy did Conan and on my other podcast, and we were like, let's rewatch that, and we hadn't seen it in like 30 years, and you rewatch it now, and you're like, that is so bad. It just does not hold up.
It doesn't hold water. Okay.
No, God. No.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to find the other ones that not repetitive, right? So brand new ones. So Morbius came out. Shaft, Ambulance, The Bad Guys.
Yep.
Unbearable weight of massive talent. I haven't seen that. God, there's some crappy ones though. Let's see here. Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Out of Sight, I've got in my stack. I haven't seen that yet. True Romance, I've got in my stack. Okay, that's 28th. That's all the big ones.
That's today.
June.
Yeah, True Romance dropped today. I actually have seen that because I bought that. It's basically the same copy that's been overseas for the last year.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it last year. I had it shipped. I think I paid $80 for it, $70-$80, and it was worth it. I loved it.
You love that movie.
I love the movie, and I had some listeners help me out and direct me to the right place to get it last year. And it's it's the exact same set that we're getting here now, and I don't regret. I mean, I just love the movie, but it does. It looks and sounds fantastic, but it can't really. In my opinion, can't really hold a candle to the two. Morbius and Ambulance are just
okay.
They're just insane movies. They're insane home theater experiences. And, Morbius, both of them are lacking in story, but both of them are just like I said, amazing home theater experiences. I had Todd on to talk about Ambulance. I had Ralph on to talk about Morbius. And I think I've said it here, they're both must-owns. For home theater reasons. I'm going to give the nod to Morbius just because I like the character better than I like the story in Ambulance. But they are, in Morbius, you have anytime a character in a home theater movie is using sonar, it's going to be a great home theater experience. So that was just great. But yeah, what do you got? What's your favorite?
I had Lawrence of Arabia. I've only seen half of Morbius, and I have not seen Ambulance. So I'm gonna get Ambulance in my player this week, just because you're saying it's so good. I was avoiding it. I don't know why I was avoiding it, but I can only have so many hours in a day. But Morbius looks really good. It sounds really good. The dynamic range is excellent in that movie.
On both video and audio, the dynamic range on the two of them, it's amazing. It's awesome. Yeah. And Ambulance is. I want to say Ambulance is even up a notch on video. Okay. Wait till you see it. It looks, oh my God. Yeah, it looks that good. Just the Michael Bay, everything.
Did you see it in the theater?
No.
Ambulance?
No.
See, I was going to go and then I dropped it and then
But
I love Michael Bay. He got the release date finally. It's been like a year.
Yeah.
The Heat's been announced for real for 4K Blu-ray. That should be excellent.
Yes, I already have that, and it looks great. I have it on the Kaleidoscape, Kaleidoscape, and it looks and sounds great. But the big gunshot, big shootout scene in the streets, and how great that scene is. It looks and sounds great on 4K with the. I can't remember if that's Atmos or not, but it looks and sounds great. It is nothing. Ambulance. It has a shootout scene that is like that on steroids. It is amazing. Okay. It's more graphic, but the sounds. When you do get both of them in house, go to those two scenes and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's almost like, and make sure you're playing them at the exact same volume, and you'll be like, I need to turn up my heat volume here because it's just not the same. It's an older movie, so like you were saying earlier with that dynamic range that they just didn't nail down in the older movies. So you just don't have the depth to the gunshots that you do in Ambulance, and you don't. By the same token, you don't have the high pitches that they do in Ambulance. And then, of course, in Ambulance, it's a little bit more hokey. So you've got the bright lights, you've got the way it's shot, and the ground level looking up at the character. I mean, it's just like I said. It's a sight, and the sights and sounds are amazing on Ambulance, and those two scenes.
You did 4K Blu-ray or Kaleidoscope for that one?
Ambulance. I did Kaleidoscope. I don't know. Just Kaleidoscope. I didn't do the Blu-ray. Okay. I don't think on that. I don't remember. But Heat, obviously, I didn't do. I only did that on Kaleidoscope.
Okay.
But a lot of these, I'm doing both. Like Morbius, I did both. I can't remember if I did Ambulance on both.
What are they charging for a movie on Kaleidoscope now?
Depends on the studio. It's like it's usually relatively around $24.99.
Okay.
I just pre-ordered Elvis. That was $39.99. But it's all about the studio, really. So, all right. So
we can wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up. I was just gonna say it. So we gotta wrap it up here. What do you got for? What do you got for? Go with number 5. Give me your number 5, and I'll give you my number 5.
Okay. Yeah, this is okay. We can do it this way. Okay, so number 5. Where's my thing here? I don't want to mess this up. Okay, so I did put. Oh man, you're gonna kill me for this.
Why? You say that every time.
We didn't talk Doctor Strange.
Well, it hasn't come out yet.
Doctor Strange a little bit.
It hasn't come out yet.
Well, it's out on Disney.
Yeah, but that's not the disc. And when we get the disc, we're gonna be like, whoa.
Okay, so my number 5, I have The Godfather.
Really? Okay.
Go ahead.
My number 5, it's probably gonna be. Because you're going with that, I'm going to go with Adam Project.
Okay. My number 4 is going to be Lawrence of Arabia, even though we know it's been released, but most people did not see it.
Right.
Because of that reason.
I know that came out in this month, and I agree with you. If I had already counted it as last year, but if I didn't, I would have put that ahead of Morbius and Ambulance because it is that good. It is that good.
It is that good. As good of a movie is that the new release, the new presentation is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So my number 4, that was I got my number 4, Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Okay.
I have. So,
cool.
Okay.
All right. My number 3 is going to be, I think we can almost guess what they're going to be now, but my number 3 is the.
Me too. Spider-Man No Way Home. And you've got the Steelbook.
Steelbook version, yeah. I mean, when a movie's this good, I got to spend the extra bucks, man.
There you go.
The extra $5 for Steelbook.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what was your number 3?
My number the same. I just said Spider-Man No Way Home.
All right,
my number 2. There you go. All right, Dune. Come out on January 11th, number 2. So I think we. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, looks good.
Slick, isn't it?
Very. And I mean, you said you hadn't seen Ambulance, so how do you have that as number 1?
I'm going by what you said.
Yeah, exactly. It's gotta be, right? DJ's never wrong. No, DJ's always wrong. Number 1, I mean, hands down, I think it's the one we talked about the longest, right?
Yeah. There it is, right there, dude.
Well, it's a question mark.
Oh, did I give you the...
Yeah, no, you did. No, the other one's a question mark too. It's around his face.
The
Batman.
It's too good.
It's
too good.
Honestly, every movie that comes out, that's what I rank it against. It's that and Dune. And it's like you go, can you beat those two? Because they're just so. I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home is great at number 3, but then I could. an argument could be made. I could pop Ghostbusters into there, but you're right with Lawrence of Arabia. I love having that in as your number 4. And yeah, I just think, Adam Project at number 5. So we've got a streamer in there. What was your number 5 again? Oh, Godfather.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
We got them all. What did you want to say about Doctor Strange?
We didn't talk about Doctor Strange too much, but that's okay. We can hold that till the next round.
Yeah, because it's not on disc.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
yes, the stream wasn't as good. I have it on the Kaleidoscape, so I have an idea on what it's going to feel like. It's on disc, and it's really good. So I'm really looking forward to that. And Top Gun Maverick. I cannot wait for that disc. I'm hopefully in July. We should be getting that fairly soon.
You saw it in the theater?
Yeah, twice.
Twice.
Have you seen it yet?
Cool. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I saw it.
And the other one I can't wait for is Thor: Love and Thunder, and I haven't even seen that yet. But
that looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one that's supposed to be really good. Oh man, what's the other big movie that's coming out?
Oh, I like Black Adam. That looks
Okay.
like it's gonna be good with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. That's coming out in, I believe it's October, something like that. So
And
we
the
should.
new Minions. Check out the new Minions this week.
You and your minions. You gotta. That's a date night for me. 'Cause like I said, my wife loves Minions, so I'll have to check that out, and
are
I'll
you
tell her
gonna,
Jeff told me to.
Yeah, you'll love it. Are you gonna have a little thing, like a list somewhere, or do you make people watch the whole thing, or do you say like do you have a list?
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna put it in the
under YouTube?
notes.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I'll put it. No, I want people to listen. I don't want people to just see our list.
Okay.
I mean, we publish a list at the end of the year, but then we do the podcast and talk about all of them. So, but we don't. You publish the list, and then I do the podcast and we talk about them. So, I think we have a nice system here, Jeff.
It's we're getting it down.
We're getting it down. As long as you can keep your Wi-Fi, your internet running, we'll be
Oh,
good.
I know. I know.
No.
I'm running on, believe it or not, I'm running on a 175-foot Ethernet cable right now because I'm still building my studio home theater, and I just haven't buried the cable yet and done all that stuff. And oh my god, because it's 110 here, man. I'm not going to be digging trenches right now.
No.
So I've actually got a heavy duty Cat 6 running 175 feet from my router to this computer.
Nice. You've never looked and sounded better, honestly. I mean, I'm not even about your looks. I mean, we'll talk about that later off air. But no, your internet connection is fantastic. And you've put in the effort. I really appreciate that. But yeah, seriously, we've got a great thing going here. I love this.
Well,
I love this. So.
I'm excited. I'm excited because we're going to revisit Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Yes.
The Return of the King, right?
Return of the King. We'll probably do that. You want to do that like early August? Is that good?
Yeah, just give me a heads up so I can watch it, rewatch it, and take some notes and get into it.
We'll talk in a couple of weeks, and we'll nail down a date, and then we can plan on that. And I'll take some notes. You'll take some notes, and maybe we'll chat as long as the movie is.
Okay, we can't do a party watch, right? Like that's not possible.
Of course we could.
Of the sound. Does the sound get copyrighted?
Oh yes. Oh, you mean do it like watch it while and do a chat? Yeah, no, because I've thought of trying to do that, but it's so hard to do a watch along because one, I want to watch. If I got headphones on, I'm not listening to the movie, right? And I'm not getting the experience that. I mean, we're here about the experience. We're not talking about the story. Mystery Science Theater 3000. That was fun, but you're not turning it all the way up to reference volume, you know?
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah. But believe me, I've been trying to work that one out myself for a while. So.
Cool.
But,
all right. Well, thanks again. I appreciate it. This is good. We got through it quick and we're,
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And you know what? This might be the first time that you and I are in agreement on the top 3. Is that right?
I think so.
Because the best of 2021, we were kind of a little shaky. And I said I pushed you on No Time to Die, but anyway.
How? That's such a great movie. And then you visited the place. I think I've been vindicated.
Yeah. So but maybe this is the first time we actually accidentally fell in line for the top 3, which is nice.
That just shows you how good those 3 are. Really.
Right.
You know, so all right. Jeff,
All right,
I know
sir.
you got a lot to get to. Thank you very much. We'll be back in August. And then, of course, at the end of the year, a big wrap up.
And that one's going to knock your socks off.
Oh, that one? There you go. Thanks, buddy.
If this episode didn't knock your socks off, the next one will knock your socks off.
Perfect. Hey, you can't ask for anything more than that. Keep your socks on, people, because they're about to be knocked off.
All right. Adios, amigo.
Later, buddy. All right, John, what did you think of that conversation? Was that a good one?
It was awesome. Fantastic. Blew my socks off. And I'm not wearing socks. So.
All right, little bit.
Well, I was wearing socks, no pants, just to peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, I couldn't get it out fast enough. I'm like, peek behind the curtain here. John never wears anything from the waist down when he podcasts.
Now I just have a t-shirt on.
Right.
So my feet are cold.
Oh, man. Yep, here comes, we're coming over.
Yeah. More of this coming your way.
More of this. So that's why I was like, all right, how do we do the close? Because I haven't talked to him yet. I'm like, I know how to do the close. I'm with my buddy John. We'll just laugh our way through it.
Exactly.
So great conversation with Jeff as always. Thank you, Jeff. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening. This is more of this, more home theater experiences, all of that fun stuff. John, thanks for sitting in for this week for a little short
no problem.
glimpse into what the listeners can expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thought we'd get a little bit of that, but thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody on Patreon. John, we have Patreon supporters. We have to thank
I've heard.
I know.
Yeah. I'm not used to that. I don't know what to make of that.
Well, hey, I know. It's a whole new world for you, John. If I had the sounder, I'd play it. A whole new. Thank you to everybody on Patreon. John, actually, you don't even know this yet. People, I think since I've announced you, I've had 3 people up their Patreon support. I've added
awesome.
2 new Patreon supporters. So, I'm like, should have brought you on
Making it rain.
years ago. Years ago.
Making it rain.
Exactly. So your socks might come off again.
I know, right?
So thank you to everybody. If you'd like to join in that kind of support, you can go over to patreon.com/brightside-home-theater. Or you can just support us by, contributing, emailing, following on Twitter, following on YouTube, leaving comments, just contributing to the home theater conversation. That's all we really care about, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It really is.
It really is. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a great week. John and I will be back next week. I am so looking forward to that podcast. Sitting down and just talking home theater for, I don't know, how long do you think we'll go? What's the over-under? Episode 1.
Hour and a half. 90 minutes.
All right, I
don't know. Well, your normal shows aren't that long.
And it's just me.
Yeah.
I think you might throw a few words in there. So I'm going over on that. So
you're going to go over? Okay.
And I'm the one in control of the show. So
well, that's true. So you're going to win, right?
You've said that in the past. So all right.
Even if there's just like lots of filler.
Yeah.
Lots of dead air.
No. I don't think I've ever been accused of dead air. It's shut up,
Lots
DJ.
of pauses. Yeah.
So, all right. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back next week. Until then, go push play. Or actually, you know what? Do you want to say go push play, or do you want to bring in your... It's our show now, John. It's not just me.
It's our show.
We'll
figure that out before next week.
Do you want me to say it? All right, we'll figure it out before next week. Yeah. That's the end of this show. Go push play. See you then.
Take care.
Hey, Fred. This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.